sex. It's the way we live our lifestyle, meaning, you know, going out partying, clubbing, and, you know, doing drugs, smoking, alcohol. We're being surrounded by it on a daily basis, and we're coming to the point where things don't seem as bad anymore. And there's TV shows where high school kids are constantly having sex. Meet a new person, hey, I really like this person, let's go to bed together, you know? This is on regular TV that anyone who has a television set and can, you know, has a working antenna can see, okay? And it worries me because Cole is growing up in this world where, you know, everything around us he sees. Everything on TV that we're watching he sees too, you know? And just as an example of what types of things, how this can affect our children, have you guys heard about the 6 cheerleaders who beat up another cheerleader in Florida? Okay. What happened recently is, I guess, there's these group of cheerleaders in high school in Florida, okay? One of the cheerleaders decided to, I believe she badmouthed the other cheerleaders on her MySpace page, which is, you know, it's basically an internet page that you can post stuff about yourself, pictures, you know, and every other people have it, so you can say, like, leave them messages back and forth. Well, she decided that she was going to say something negative about these other cheerleaders, okay? Then these other cheerleaders decided they were going to get revenge on her, okay? What they did was they lured her to come with them in a car and go to one of the girls' houses, okay? Then what they did is they had 2 of their guy friends stand out front and you know, make sure nobody, you know, came in or you know, just to, you know, keep them safe inside and let them do what they want. Well, they took the girl who had said those things. First thing they did is they slammed her up against the wall, and she was knocked unconscious. Okay. Then she was on the couch. Okay, and when she came to, they started beating her up. Okay, and not only did they do that, but they had, I think it was 5 camcorders taping the whole thing, with the intention of taking this video and posting it on YouTube to humiliate the girl, you know? Okay, and you know, you think, okay, cheerleaders beating up a girl. Okay, yeah, it's bad, but how bad could it be? One, she lost vision in her left eye, and she lost hearing in her ear. Now, I haven't kept up to it, so I don't know if she recovered. Maybe she recovered, maybe she didn't. You know, we don't really know. But it just shows, you know, I mean, to think that cheerleaders would beat up another cheerleader because she posted something, you know, you would never think it would happen. But in this day and age, because of, you know, everything that we're being exposed to, somehow they thought it was fine. Okay? Not only that, when these 6 cheerleaders were taken to prison, you think they'd feel some remorse. They were laughing and joking while they were in the prison cell. They're saying, oh, I guess we're not going to be able to make cheerleading practice or go to the beach this weekend. You know? Not only that, okay, but when they were when they were sitting in front of the judge, you know, the judge was, I don't know if they were giving out the sentencing or if it was the preliminary trial, whatever. But when they were sitting before a judge, they were still laughing, still cracking jokes. You know, and these girls are not all old. They ranged from, I think it was 14 to 17 years old. It might have been 13 also, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, so it just shows that these girls, you know, were desensitized to violence, and that somehow they thought it was okay for them to beat up another girl. You know, and around us, okay? This is, you know, in everything we do, you know, watch TV, you know, on the radio, we're listening to the radio while we're driving to work or whatever. In everything we read, you know, everything, there's so many things that telling us that this, well, they're not telling us that it's okay, but it's exposing us to it so much that we get used to it. That what was once shocking is no longer shocking. Okay? And it's good in the sense that it helps us to understand what is out there. Okay? It's good in the sense that if we're smart enough, if we're wise enough, we'll protect ourselves from that because we know it's out there. We know that people do this. We know that, you know, there are kids running along the wrong path, so we can, you know, educate our own children to not do these things. Educate our children to say that this is what, you know, the world thinks is normal. But we need to educate our kids ourselves and say this is not normal. This is not how we should live our lives. This is not how, what you should think, you know, is fun or whatever. Okay. Now, and it's obviously, you know, bad because, you know, this isn't something that we should be getting used to. Okay. Going back to Matthew, chapter 7. Verse 13, it says, "Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction." Okay, so it's just telling us that the path to destruction is a wide gate. There's so many ways to lead to destruction. It's big, okay? And then in verse 14 it says, "For the gate is small and the way is narrow that leads to life, and few are those who find it." Now the way that we need to live our lives, the way to life, is a small path, a small gate that we need to cross. Okay? Meaning that it's hard. It means that we need to actively look for this path. We need to be aware of where we're going. We need to know that we need to get from point A to point B. Okay? And if we're going there and then we stumble off, you know, we need to be aware that that is not going to get us to our destination. That is not going to get us to the way that leads to life. Okay. Now, verse 15, you know, and that this next verse instantly came to mind when I read this. You know, it says, "Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves." Okay? "You will know them by their fruits. Grapes are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor figs from thistles, are they?" So, I guess this sermon really is just a wake-up call. Okay? Just, you know, we can, you know, we can be go happily to our churches every week, you know, thinking that everything is fine, thinking that, you know, if we keep going to church, you know, and do our prayers, you know, that everything's fine, that our children will grow up okay, you know, that our young people will never get lost, you know. But the reality is that it's everywhere in us, in every aspect of our lives, and that we need to be careful. We need to beware of the false prophets. We need to beware of the people who are trying to take our children, you know, into and get them to start, you know, sinning by going down the wrong path, you know. And the scary thing is that it's so easy these days to sin because we're being desensitized to everything, you know. You know, before, you know, I know, like, the world that I live in today, at my age, is completely different than what the older people lived in their day. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. You know, and just seeing how much the world has changed in such a very small amount of time.